For 10 minutes late. My bad, y'all.
No, you good.
I mean, we're already hours late anyway, so
right,
you have to worry.
What's going on, everybody? We are back with another podcast, Nintendo Direct Podcast, episode 4, man. And I mean, sorry that it's late. I had some unforeseen things come up with work. First of all, I don't even work on Sundays, and we had to work this Sunday. And then on top of that, they decided that, hey, we're going to work a little extra this Sunday, so I couldn't get off in time. So sorry to everybody. Normally this is at 7:30, but regardless, we are here, and I have some good guests, some good friends with me. Starting out with my homie, Lieutenant Surge Gaming. What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
Not too much. I just spilled coffee on my lap. That hurt. That didn't feel very good.
What?
I just spilled coffee on my lap. Ow, that hurt. But anyway, and then I have the homie Bloody Knuckles, the Anime King. What's going on, man?
What's good? What's good? It's good to be back, man.
Awesome.
It's good to be back, man. You don't even know. It's just exciting. And
well, how was first of all, let's talk about this because I know you already done talked about it. But how was E3?
Dude, it was something else. To be there, to feel the excitement, to feel everything live was just like something else, dude. Like, it really was crazy. Like, I was all over the place. Like, I didn't get to experience everything just because I did not have a goddamn clue or like a plan. So next year I'm gonna have it more planned out. But dude, just experiencing everything and seeing everything up close, getting hands-on, getting to talk with so many awesome people, dude, it was just something else.
Yeah, didn't you meet up with the crew, the Iron Lords crew?
I did catch up with the Iron Lords and did some stuff with them for a little bit. We went out multiple times and went drinking and stuff like that. And of course, I was hanging out with the whole GRG gang over there, and got to hit up some big events thanks to some really big people in the community. So shout out to them. So I got to meet quite a few Xbox execs and got to have some really great one-on-one talks about things. And it was something special, dude. I can't even like put in words how awesome it was.
Man, I'm jealous because I was supposed to go, but then I ended up couldn't be able to go. So, man, I'm happy that you got to go and it was a good time. And so now, for the first time on the Nintendo Direct Podcast, a good buddy of mine, good friend, the homie, Mr. Avedon Smith. What's going on, my dude?
What's going on, y'all? Avedon Smith here. Do live streams, Nintendo news, gaming news, whole bunch of stuff. I have a lot of opinions, a lot of funny opinions too. Should check out my channel. Oh, and I do OST reviews too. So if you have a favorite soundtrack, I might have reviewed it already. There
you go. The fake mate is in the chat. He changed his name from New York Giants fan to the fake mate. What's going on, dude? Barrett, Stitched. What's going on, everybody? So we got some topics coming up. Want to talk about this. Does Nintendo have a hacking issue? Apparently there are some naughty pictures showing up in Super Mario Odyssey. Nintendo are banning pirated game cartridges, and then all the other countless hacks that they have. Do they have a hacking issue? Also, we're going to touch on the Sony cross-play, of course, with Fortnite. That's a hot topic. And then we have a little bit of a creative discussion. Were Nintendo and Xbox both ahead of their time? We'll just go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and get into the first topic. Let's just talk about these Nintendo hacking issues. I mean, there has been reported that there has been people putting pornographic images in the Super Mario Odyssey. We already know about the homebrew hacks, the hacks where people are modifying the chips. And these hacks go back to what? I mean, the Wii U, as far as all these hacks they've had, the countless hacks that they've had. I mean, is this a big issue for Nintendo? Do they need to fix this issue, or are they just going to continue to let it ride? I don't think they will, but that's just my opinion. Let's start with you, Avedon. You kind of have a little bit more knowledge than me on most of these subjects. So what do you think about this, man?
Here's the thing. When it comes down to these hacking issues, Nintendo's already 10 steps ahead. If you guys know of Shiny Quagmire, he was actually banned, like zero locked from his Nintendo accounts last month, back in May. And the way they blocked him was actually kind of unique because he had a hack switch. And on his non-hack switch, he has no online privileges.
Whoa. How'd they do that?
So Nintendo must have either account blocked them or IP banned them. Either way, Nintendo got deep and found a way to find another account connected to him and say, we're blocking every IP or every Nintendo Switch in this household, and found it like that. So when you break it down to that stance, Nintendo are blocking people fast. Even just this month, another, I think his name is Static, I forgot his name, but he even came out and said they are blocking people fast. They are banning people left and right when it comes to trying to hack Nintendo Switch. So contrary to belief, when people say Nintendo Switch is not really where it needs to be in terms of security, in terms of a lot of things, Nintendo Switch just proved firsthand like, yo, we got Fort Knox security up in this piece. You try to hack all you want and you're going to get banned, and you're not just going to get banned in the slightest sense. You're going to get all of your accounts banned, because the Nintendo Switch online service is really something that I'm watching carefully more than anything else. Because right now, Square Enix is in the talks of getting Final Fantasy 14 on the second largest MMO in the world right now. So when I see Nintendo doing the things they're doing, they're making sure their online is on point. If their online is going to be on point, their hacking, their security is going to be 10 times even stronger. So that's all I got to say on that.
All right. Do you think that this will get any better? Just before I move on to Bloody, do you think that they will improve on this? Will they be able to stay? I mean, you said that they're already ahead of it, but it seems like every time they're ahead, there's a new hack and then just around the corner. Do you think they'll be able to pretty much, I guess, future-proof the system and stay steps ahead, or do you think that they'll just keep going how it's going?
Here's the thing: when it comes to hackers, there is always going to be somebody who's 10 steps ahead. It's like when it comes to hacking, there's always somebody who's going to try to hack the system again and again and again and again. That's just the case when it comes to hackers. True. Their job to find out how to break the system again. There's going to be nothing that's going to be unhackable. Anything is hackable. True. So once there's a level of security, there's going to be someone to find the next level, then the next level, then the next level. But that's why Nintendo has a team of people to step ahead. So it's always I'm not gonna say a struggle, but it's always a war to keep going, being a steps ahead of the next wave of hackers, and a way to make people say, you know what, this is not worth it. This is not worth hacking anymore, because we're just gonna keep on shooting ourselves in the foot. When hacking starts to cease or hacking starts to decrease, when there's no more profit going into it.
All right. Fair enough. Bloody, what you got, my dude? What you got?
For me, what I got, man, is it all comes down to this: is while we love Nintendo and what they do, is hardware-wise, they're not the most secure when it comes to building their hardware. We saw it with the Wii, with how much that was hacked, and with the Wii U. When the Switch came out, how long was it shortly after that hardware was launched that it was completely already jailbroken, that the hacks that were coming out were built into the hardware, that people were able to figure out how to use the hardware itself to get into these hacks? It was almost within the first month that they started seeing it, and Nintendo had to quickly get ahead of it and say, no, we are aware that there is a security flaw within the hardware and things like that, and they're just like, we're gonna try and see what we can do, but as of right now, there's no way to do anything. So what did they do to try and get around that? Is that they were trying to use what they can with the online infrastructure they have now. They're using it to find people who are using hacks or anything like that to get those people. They showed right now they are taking they're doing a full zero tolerance when it comes to hacking online. They really are. And the one thing I can absolutely give them a lot of props on with that is the fact of that when they ban some of these people, that they're finding where the hacks are coming from through the hardware. But the best thing is that they're also going specifically through the cartridges, which is something that's very unique in how they're able to read that information specific to those cartridges to also use that as a ban, because they're tying it to the IP and the device name itself from the hardware, but they're also tying it directly to those cartridges that are being used by those accounts. So that's something that's very unique in the way that they're creating their own security. Right now, you know, they're not putting out a new console for, you know, a couple years, another version of the Switch that may be either bigger, more souped up, or anything like that. So they are going to have to be wary of these hacks that are going to kind of last and persist, because you're going to have those people that, you know, persist in those regards. But until that time, right now, there's zero tolerance, and what they're trying to do to kind of take care of those hackers and prevent the issue from being more profound and more you know, getting worse than it is. They are doing it right, and they do deserve a lot of credit for that. But right now, the issue is that they just don't know how to build very secure software within their operating system. That's where a lot of the issues happening, is that on the hardware and on the very base of the technology, they don't know how to put that security features within that aspect. If you look at, you know, Xbox, the OG and the 360 were jailbroken a lot because of certain ways that they were built, but you didn't see hacks on some of the newer models of the 360 later on, with like the Jasper and everything, when they added in the HDMI and other models. And you don't see modded Xbox Ones because of the fact that they know how to build their hardware around that, because of the fact that the operating system is tied into their online. But you still see right now there's a lot of hacked PS4s. That shows that there's a fundamental issue within the hardware, and that's where Nintendo is definitely trying to fix their issue, but they don't know how to, just because of the fact that they've never had that prevalent issue before, you know?
Fair enough. Lieutenant Surge, what you got for me, homie?
I mean, I gotta agree with both Abaddon and Bloody, man. That it's always been a problem about their hardware. I mean, their 3DS was jailbroken within 2 weeks of release. Like, the very first time anyone heard about their 3DS being broken literally was 2 weeks after release. And they had literally had the entire Nintendo eShop unlocked for them.
Right.
But, I mean, the thing that I have to say Nintendo is doing well, though, is they do have that security team. They have paired up with Niantic's security style, where, like Abaddon was saying with Shiny Quagmire, they are going that step beyond and locking down IP addresses where they can lock down an entire household connected to that internet. So that way it doesn't just go, okay, we can lock this account. That's where Nintendo is differing from other consoles, because they only lock down accounts. Nintendo is locking down IP addresses, keeping them from even getting their stuff online. So once they find out that, hey, this guy's modding, he's hacking all of our software, okay, let's shut it down.
True. I do agree, because you do see a lot of them coming out and saying, hey, we're handling it, and you do hear the stories of them banning people. For me, I was just thinking, is there any way for them to get ahead and stay ahead of the game on it? But as Abaddon said, that's the hacker's job to stay ahead of them. So moving on to this next sort of part. Go ahead.
The only thing I could see them actually doing is learning how to build their software better, or build their hardware better.
Right.
That's the only way they're going to see a nice slowdown on any kind of hacking. Then you might just have people trying to mod gear instead of hack it.
True. Fair enough. So, speaking of hacking, we'll just go into this one. The whole Nintendo pirating, they're not pirating anything. The whole pirated game cartridges ban. What were you saying, Bloody, about that? You were saying that they're getting to the fact where they can ban individual cartridges. It's not just a whole mass of them. It's one by one. Is that what you said? Correct? Like, you were talking to me about it earlier.
Yeah, so I was looking into it, and the way that it's showing is that each of the cartridges has certain metadata that's tied to it, certain within the batch that it's with, and it's also showing that it's tied to certain accounts and being used on certain consoles. And when they see that these pirated or pre-made cartridges are kind of using this data for a game that it's not tied to, they're able to track that because of their online infrastructure right now. now and be able to ban these individual cartridges. So the fact of it's kind of getting them a little bit of a unique way of staying ahead of it, because they're not doing, you know, just like, hey, everything from this batch to this batch, all those cartridges, just null and void them if they're attracted online, because the fact that there may be people who are using legitimate cartridges that fall within that batch, but because of the fact that they're doing a mass, you know, drop, those people are not going to be able to play the games. No, they're actually being a little bit more smart about how they're handling these pirated cartridges and the information that it's using, because of the fact that we've seen, you know, pirated measures and digital games or physical games and stuff like that to show that there's certain code missing when it's copied or anything like that. So the way that they're handling these pirated cartridges is a very unique take on that physical digital pirating aspect.
All right, but there are people out here that are crying out foul play because they're saying, what if somebody was to purchase one of these pirated game cartridges? What if that happens and that person buys that and then all of a sudden that's banned and they won't be able to use that? Do you think that's foul play, or do you think it's fair play on the part of Nintendo?
That's kind of the gray area that these cases come into, is because of the fact that there are people who are buying things that may not realize that they're pirated because the person that they're buying it from, or maybe looking as, you know, legitimate as possible, and they're just like, no, we're gonna do, you know, we're gonna sell this or buy that, you know, and it turns out to be pirated. So it does kind of fall into a very tough spot for Nintendo in those cases that it does happen.
Right. There was a big argument in one of my streams I was doing. They were arguing about whether it was a big deal or not. Could Nintendo just flip the switch on said metadata? But I was talking, because it was my buddy, and I'm a buddy, but Retsy Lopez, who comes to my streams, was talking about it, saying this isn't a big deal because Nintendo can mandate what it is. But at the same time, as you said, if it's banned data, it's banned data. I mean, even if you sell it to somebody and they get it, like, it's Nintendo's right to ban that. So Abaddon, like, what do you think about people crying out foul play in this situation?
Here's the thing. When you call out foul play, you're almost trying to assume the role that you're basically assuming the role that you was in the right in the first place, when technically you're breaking the law. Right. You're trying to have access to things that don't belong to you. So what you're doing is not fair play. You just got caught. You didn't like the fact you got caught. And you know what that's like? That's like, I'm put it like this. That's like, you see a restaurant, you have prior knowledge that this restaurant steals or they don't get their food by unnecessary measures, by legal measures, right? You break into the store and try to steal that same food, but you get caught. Are you going to cry foul play because you're trying to be Robin Hood? No.
That's a great analogy.
that was amazing.
What you got, bro?
Man, okay. The reason I brought up the whole Niantic thing was we all know Pokemon Go is connected to Nintendo. Niantic, when they came out with the Pokemon Go game, you know, they were bringing it out as a kind of a Pokemon workout style gameplay. So when everybody started doing all the GPS spoofing, they were the first ones to figure out how to IP lockdown. And then they had people who are also complaining about foul play. Well, I was just seeing what it was about. Well, you did it in the first place. Whether you meant to be doing it intentionally or by accident, I mean, you figured out it was bad. You figured out it was wrong, but you still continued with it anyway.
Yep. That's what I was thinking. It was just funny because they were arguing about it in one of my streams, and I was like, are we really trying to get to the part saying that if somebody buys a pirated game and they don't know they are, which I don't know how you don't know you are, but if they don't know they are, is it foul play on Nintendo's part? Should they allow that to happen? And I was just like, but brother, breaking the law, breaking the rules, you kind of have to just take your L at that point. Which leads me to this. That's why you just might as well just be on the up and up and buy your stuff new at that point. You know what I mean? Like, it was just funny to me they were making that argument.
Here's Nintendo's like recall on that problem. If you have a pirated copy of something, as long as you can contact them and turn it in, then I see them being able to lift a ban off your account.
100%.
I
mean, if you're willing to turn it in, if you're willing to literally put it in the mail, send it to them.
I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. That's what
then it shows that you're willing to.
Right.
That it was an accident. I didn't mean to have it. Here you go.
True.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, the other thing too is that with them, whether it's intentional or not, this also falls into that very, very heavy gray area of copyright law. And the worst thing about copyright law is that it's so open-ended with so many little nuances. It's hard because of the fact that the whole data itself is copyrighted, licensed, code and data for their property that you have on a cartridge or device that is not manufactured or created by them, that has their data. So they are within legal rights to kind of ban the cartridge and block it, as well as your account. Of course, it is one of those things that's kind of an individual basis. It's like, look, I swear I didn't know this, work with them and see what they could do. But, for the most part, it's in one of those tough, spots that's really hard to kind of gauge where it is and everything like that. It's so nuanced in that aspect.
The thing with that though is, just because you're playing a pirated version doesn't mean you're breaking the copyright law. If you were to turn that into Nintendo, they could reverse data mine that and find the IP which created the hack in the first place.
Absolutely, and that's
where the copyright law comes into play.
Exactly,
is whoever created the hack is the one that's in trouble for the copyright laws.
Exactly, and that's why I was saying that it's such a tough gray area. And if you show willing to work with them, I'm sure that it's one of those things that really is an individual basis. Because like I said, there's some people who may unwillingly get those pirated copies because they think that they're getting a good deal for something. And like I said, it's made to look as authentic as it is, but people are just kind of like, I'm just gonna make all this and make these cartridges look like they're official things and get these cheap ass cases that make it look like it's a Switch case and just sell it and make money off.
I mean, yeah, we live in America where everybody wants to be cheap, and as long as I can get something used for less than half the price of a brand new one, then yeah, I'm gonna go that way.
Right.
Exactly.
The fake mate says it's like when a pawn shop buys a stolen item, the pawn shop has to hand over the stolen goods to the police without their money back. I mean, fair enough. That's a pretty good comparison.
Yeah, that's exactly the best way to think about it.
All right, so moving on to the next subject, and I've got to be honest with you guys. I thought that this would go away. I thought that this subject would go away, this news would go away, but it keeps coming up, and that is the Sony blocking crossplay on Fortnite. I thought that this would go away after the week. Do what?
Oh, so I didn't know if you could hear me at one point.
Yeah, I can hear you. I thought that this would go away after a week. After. It came out during E3 on the Switch, and there was crossplay and everything like that. I thought this would die out, but apparently it hasn't. Apparently, a lot of people are still upset about it. One of Sony's former bosses came out and said that the only reason why crossplay is not happening on Sony is because of money. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He pretty much just laid it down. Money issues with Sony, and Sony is continually taking a beating for this. They came out with the replies, and it was just like, we're looking at it. Just a typical not saying a whole lot about the issue. I mean, let me just ask you guys this one, because it's kind of open-ended. Is this ever going to go away for Sony, or do they have to look at this and fix the issue? Let's start with you, Abaddon.
Well, the whole pirating issue, right?
No. This the crossplay with Sony on Fortnite. Like, it's become such an issue. Do they have to fix that issue, or?
I'm gonna say this: they don't have to fix it in terms of having to, because they're on the top of the market right now.
Correct.
Should they fix it? Yes. Mainly because you're not gonna be on top forever. In fact, if you think of it as a chessboard, right?
Right.
Think of this as one giant chessboard, and right now Sony has the control of the whole entire board. However, when they're playing against Microsoft and when they're playing against Nintendo, they already see that this is going to be a much harder battle than they originally thought. They went on account of couple of times this year stating that they weren't expecting the Nintendo Switch to be selling as much as it was. And they said it last year too. And when it comes to Xbox, anyone really paid attention to E3 when it came down to those the partnership, the 5 studios that Microsoft added. These are things that are going to be for the Xbox One X2 or the Xbox 2, whatever it's going to be called.
Right.
These are for the next generation with Xbox. So Xbox is preparing for their next gen. Nintendo already created a system that can upgrade itself because, as I said multiple times, the Nintendo Switch is a modular console, whether you want to admit it or not. So you could buy different parts to it, and all they need to do to solidify and call checkmate is make separate tablets. Once they make separate tablets, it's a wrap because you could charge the tablets for less money than you do for a whole console for an upgrade. So breaking it down to that standpoint, when these consoles upgrade to the next gen and they're cross-playing with each other, and when PlayStation 5 comes out and you cannot experience these same cross-play experiences with your other friends with other consoles, they're going to be left out when it comes to the multiplayer. And companies like EA, companies like 2K Sports that are making all these sports games, companies like Activision that are focusing heavy on Sony and Xbox, they're going to focus more on Nintendo and Xbox.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be a more viable partnership.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I look at it. I just find it crazy that right now this partnership is happening between Xbox and Nintendo. Like, it's almost like a childhood dream to me almost. But just because like these are my 2 favorite gaming companies, now they're coming together. I think Sony, like you said, they need to do it. They probably should do it on behalf of the consumers. You know, it's just not fair that if you have your certain accounts locked to Sony, now you can't use them on other platforms such as PC or Switch. Forget Xbox. Some PlayStation players have PCs. So what if they have it locked to the PlayStation? Now they can't move that over to PC now because Sony, because of that issue.
Well, they can still use it on PC because Sony only does crossplay between PlayStation and PC.
Okay. So it's just the Switch and the Xbox that they're just not playing fair on.
Correct.
I mean, that just sounds like spilt milk to me, bro.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it does. And then on top of that, did you see the announcement that they made like right around this news that there was going to be a brand new Fortnite Sony bundle? Did anybody see that?
That just had the game. And I made the joke about that. I was just like, so they're now bundling a free to play game with their console. I was like, what? So they're just gonna save you the 2 hours of install time for it? It's already going to come on this system and everything. Like, come on now.
Like, you gonna make it come with the battle pass? Like, come on.
Right. Exactly. So
which is good for what, 3 months?
Right.
Yeah. Right.
So what are you thinking about this, buddy? Like, what do you think about all of this in general? Man. Like, will they change it and all that stuff? Like, what do you think?
I was there, okay, when this shit blew up at E3 after the Nintendo conference when they made the announcement. Because me and you talked about this before I left for E3. Is that we were expecting some announcements that we thought, which was Fortnite and then Dragon Ball FighterZ, which I both said were very reasonable and proper games that should be on the Switch. And lo and behold, what we see at the Nintendo conference, those very 2 games announced, just like we talked, which we called, being on them. And then right after that, they announced, Fortnite's going to have crossplay. But right after that announcement, literally within those hours after this whole thing blew up, I saw it the next day when I was back on the floor hearing about this from everyone that was there, because there were people who had their Switches there and were playing and doing other stuff while they were waiting for other events and things like that. And it made such a big like thing there at E3 that it blew up within 24 hours and went completely like atomic across social media. The fact is, we know this is a money thing. We know Sony is doing what they can to cause a stranglehold as much as they can because they don't want to release any business in any shape or form. When they have done crossplay, it's specifically with PC. The only games that they do crossplay with is always PC, and we've seen it with Final Fantasy 14. We see it with Fortnite. I believe it's on H1Z1 and a few other online games. You know, it's only crossplay with PC. And that's because of the fact that Sony's had online service with PC for quite some time. But Nintendo being one of the biggest pushes for crossplay right along with Microsoft and using some of the biggest games to really make their point. Fortnite, probably the biggest game in the world right now with 130 million players and downloads. Minecraft, with having sold over 130 million copies worldwide over the past, 10 years or so, and it's still selling like hotcakes. And fucking then Rocket League, which is a really big competitive game and just a fun game that a lot of people use. They're using the 3 biggest games right now during this generation to really push the whole crossplay. And who's the one who really approached them with it and helping them with the online infrastructure on it all? Has been Microsoft. Those two have worked out really great deals in this aspect. And when they approached Sony about it, they said no. And people who are using the whole, oh, well, Microsoft denied it last generation. That was 1, last generation. 2, it was different leadership. And 3, it was only for Defiance, which had really shit online code and had so many issues with it that game died within like the first 2 months of that game being out. So what's the point? These are games that are so hot that they've been going on for the past years. Like, Fortnite has blown up over the past year since it did its battle royale. Minecraft has never stopped being huge since it basically hit mainstream on PC and then got purchased by Microsoft and hit every other device in existence. And Rocket League is another one. Like, the people who are trying to fight against this is the worst about it. The fact is that I don't think Sony's gonna break, though, because look at their very first statement after the announcement for the whole controversy, and saying they use that statement to brag about their sales numbers. They say we have over 80 million consoles sold and over 79 million, monthly or active users or whatever they said. They said we do crossplay with PlayStation, PC, mobile, iOS. There's plenty of people for our fans to play with. And then we're just like, that's not the issue. The accounts that people spent money to get things on is being locked because it's tied to your account, and they won't address that at all. They are completely avoiding that topic. And right now, I think Fortnite will be the one that either really fucks them over because they take that hard stance and say no all the way, and people are going to turn on it, or it's going to be the game
already turning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or the people are going to break. And it's going to make Sony have to force their hand and actually do something about an open crossplay, because there's been so many devs out there that state they want crossplay with all the consoles. Look at Final Fantasy 14. The director himself says he wants to port it to Xbox because they can, but he wants to do it if they will allow crossplay with PlayStation and PC. But Sony keeps kind of denying it, so they can't do a port of it.
And then that's where the Switch comes in. I mean to cut you off, but that's where the Switch comes in. They want to port it to many places as possible. So if they can get it on the Switch, then if there's the competitor with Microsoft, they could do crossplay with.
Exactly.
Do you think? I'm not, because like we said, Sony's doing fine. They're already leading in the gym. But do you think that this could signal not an end, but a sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Not like it down, but like this is a bad look on
downfall.
Sony. Do you think this could sort of start a downfall, a bad trend if they keep going in this way? Because like you said, people are wanting crossplay. Gamers want crossplay. Even the other companies want crossplay, but they seem to be locked in their own room. Like, do you think that this could sort of?
I mean, the wider audience definitely wants it, and I think this is going to kind of push and really kind of. It's going to vilify Sony in one of two ways.
There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. Vilify. Yeah. You think that's going to vilify them? There you go.
It'll vilify them if they take that hard stance and continue to say no and won't change it at all. Then people are going to be like more against them than ever, and you're going to see that full switch over to Microsoft with Xbox and Switch to show their support. Now, it's not going to be an immediate. You're not going to see suddenly 40 million sales within a year for Xbox and 25 for Switch within a year. No, but it's definitely going to kind of show that slow, steady incline on those two being the new power couple. You know, those two showing the support and friendship and what they're working with together, especially with the fact that there's still rumors right now that we're gonna see some of Rare's old characters appear in Smash, that they're gonna have that power couple relationship that's really gonna push them both in the next generation, showing what they're able to do together. And if Sony does have to break about it, you know they're gonna kind of make it a hard way to kind of do a lot of this aspect.
That's a well, go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to try to step in because I've got some few things to say about it. Like, I mean, you talk about those games that have literally become the cross-play like front runners.
Yeah,
like
the revolution for
Fortnite. Yeah, there you go. The revolutionaries of that whole cross-play system. Literally, everyone knows Rocket League started on Sony.
Yes,
sold their rights to everyone else, and now that game has literally become a huge front runner of the crossplay. I mean, you could pretty much call this a crossplay era, like the whole beginning of the era of crossplay.
Yeah, it's a new generation revolution.
Finally, it's the literal like unification of gamers. The thing that everybody has wanted from the start, you know, where it's not a competition anymore. It's now everything is geared toward the gamer. The problem with Sony is Sony, you know, like everybody was trying to say, well, Xbox did it last year where they didn't want to do any kind of crossplay. Well, Xbox, like y'all said, was under a whole new system of like a whole different system of leadership. Who was all only geared toward the money and the power. And but now that they're not on top, and that's the problem, because they got down below Sony. So now hey, let's make it about the gamers, not about us. So, and another thing with not with Hi-Rez, but with Epic, of course, we all know Epic's big start was with Xbox.
True.
Epic's number one was always Gears of War, which started on Xbox and was Xbox exclusive. Well, what they're doing with Fortnite now, that's why they brought out the whole refund program, because they were hearing about how Xbox was trying to make it to where you could cross-play with multiple platforms and stuff. Well, the entire reason for their refund program was because anything you bought on PlayStation, as long as you refunded it and then removed your PlayStation account off of the Epic's website, you could move it and keep your V-Bucks on any other console.
Yeah, but they also make it so hard to refund anything because they
I know it's the start though. They started that because of PlayStation.
Yeah.
Because PlayStation was so dead set about not allowing cross-platform that they brought out the refund program to start getting people to be able to give their stuff back for their money, basically, to move and put it on a new account.
Yep.
Which, I mean, not a new account, but literally all they were doing was making it to where you break your tie with Sony, you can put it on any other console. Because I owned a PlayStation and an Xbox, and I found that out because I was buying stuff on PlayStation. Well, I sold it back and then moved my account back to Xbox, and I had my V-Bucks there.
Right. So what I'm hearing from everybody is that Sony should probably play nice and start implementing crossplay, but
if they will for a while. You will see them fall out from being the top.
By their PlayStation 5, it won't be the best.
I think they should get ahead of this before the PS5 comes out.
See, we say that they should get ahead of it, but we know that they're not gonna, because it's not about hashtag for the players. They're hashtag for the payers.
Look, I mean, there's a saying. What is it? The saying, bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. Yeah. Sony should probably watch out before they become pigs, pretty much. With
where they're
sitting.
I see someone like oh, go ahead, Matt. You gonna say something?
I mean, I was just gonna say that's literally it. Like, as long as they've got that bullheadedness in them, that they think they're gonna stay on top, you won't see a change. But as soon as you see their numbers start falling, they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, we got to do something."
Yeah.
Here's the thing: Sony is in a weird predicament right now because they're on top. They could be on top right now, but when it comes to their PlayStation 5, no matter how powerful they make it, if they don't jump on the bandwagon now, what happened with the Sony, the Nintendo PlayStation, it could be a deja vu of that. So what I mean by that is, because Sony is going to be their stubbornness to get on crossplay, it can have the same effect of Nintendo's stubbornness to get on CD disc ROM at that point. Because that's why Nintendo fell with the N64. They refused to go to disc. That's basically why Nintendo 64 failed in a nutshell, because how many copies they sold? It was like roughly about 30 million, right?
Right.
As opposed to the PlayStation 1, which sold over 100 million. So you have to look at it from that standpoint. If they don't get on this now, it's not so much of this console season that's going to be playing effect, but next console season. The next wave of consoles is when this is going to be a problem for Sony. And if Sony waits until the next console season to do it, then Microsoft and Nintendo are going to pull their hands back. Was like, "Hey, you had your chance."
That's a good segue. Speaking of Microsoft, and into the next topic, and this is like more of a creative discussion topic, because I was thinking about this at work today, because I had a lot of time on my hands at work, obviously because we're doing this late because of work, but I had a lot of time on my hands. Right. I was just thinking, so starting in 2013, Xbox came out. They announced the Xbox One. They announced a lot of policies that a lot of gamers did not like. The whole DRM thing, the game sharing. There's a lot of people did not greet their announcements and their ideas with open arms. Let's just say that much. They were not about that. And then fast forward to 2014, whenever the Wii U comes out. Was it 2014 or 2015? Either way, 2014, the Wii U comes out. It was ambitious for Nintendo. They wanted to do kind of what they did with the Switch, with a more hybrid sort of concept, but then that was also met with not a lot of open arms as well from the general media. And so I was just thinking to myself, now that we're in 2018, it seems like a lot of Nintendo's ideas back then are more welcome now. A lot of Xbox's ideas then are more accepted now. After the announcement of E3, everybody is saying that Xbox is trending up, and everybody's saying that Nintendo is trending up. Here's my main question. So in 2013, were they right all along with the direction they were going? Were they ahead of their time? Or did they just sort of take their ideas, put a new coat of paint on them, get new leadership, and then put them on here, and now everybody's just clamoring that they're now on the up and up? Were they right all along is pretty much what I'm trying to say. Let's start with Lieutenant Surge. What do you think about that? As far as the policies that Xbox implemented in 2013, they pulled them away, but now it seems like they're slowly bringing them back, and everybody's more accepting of them. Were they ahead of their time? Were they right all along? What do you got?
I would have to say with both Xbox and Nintendo, they were both ahead. I mean, with coming out with the original Xbox One, they had all these policies that people didn't accept, of course, because it was a lot of things that changed between the 360 and the Xbox One. But I mean, Xbox One has progressively grown because of their own policies they put in place. And now that people are starting to realize what they were doing back then, now they see what happened, why they put those policies in place. Now it's making everything better for the gamers. I mean, same thing with Nintendo. I mean, yeah, the Wii U, when it came out, I mean, it was a glorified version of the Wii with a whole portable system, but you couldn't go 25 feet away from the Wii before it shut off. I mean, and so they took that and literally was like, okay, let's figure out a console where we can literally make our portable that we want. And they did, because now you've got everything the Wii U was supposed to be in a whole new console. And that's why everyone is accepting it now over then, because it's everything they wanted to do but couldn't do because the technology wasn't there yet.
Gotcha. Bloody, what do you got?
I'm going to say both of them were always ahead of their time. They have both been ahead of their time. And in many aspects, you know, Microsoft has been very ahead of their time multiple times. They're very forward thinking. They see trends and possibilities for the future, and they've jumped on them plenty of times. But people always, look down on what they've done and never give them credit. I mean, think, Bill Gates back in 2001 introduced the tablet computer. And everyone thought that was stupid. That why would people want, a computer on a tablet when they just have a desktop? Then come 2006, 2007, we see the iPad, and that thing blew up from Apple. Look at what they did with the original Xbox back in 2001, 2002. That had an internal hard drive. People thought, why is there an internal hard drive when you look at the PlayStation 2, which just had memory cards? People thought internal hard drives were dumb. They had the first actual triggers on the controller with the original Duke and all that. And people thought that was dumb. They're like, why do you want actual triggers? You're not pulling a gun or anything. And then look at what they did when they started the live service for Xbox Live way back in the day. That was the first dedicated online. And a lot of people saw it as revolutionary, but people still kind of gave them crap. Then look at what Sony did. 2006, PS3 had internal hard drive, and people thought it was the greatest thing in the world. 2007, it had a rumble pack in the DualShock 3 and with the PS3, and people thought it was the greatest thing, even though we had that in 2005 with the Xbox controller. 2007 also included actual triggers on the new DualShocks. They also created the PlayStation Network in 2006, years after Microsoft had already spearheaded it, and people thought that it was dumb. And what they did in 2013 with the launch of the Xbox was some of the stuff that they're doing and what they wanted to do was very spot on for the future. They saw an all digital age coming. People back then said, no, we don't want digital. We want to stick with physical. 2006, 2017, more than 60% of sales and higher for a lot of places
online,
all digital, all online. Steam has been doing all digital for the longest time, and they were doing DRM.
Mm-hmm. Steam is basically what Xbox is supposed to be.
Exactly. That is what they wanted to be. And look at this too. When they stated, hey, we're going to open family sharing. All your games in your digital library, you can share with 10 family members.
10 people.
And people said, no, that is stupid. We don't want to do that. We want to just be able to share the disc. Then what happened a year later? Steam came out and said, hey, we're doing a family sharing, share with other 10 friends on your list. And people are just like, oh, this is the greatest thing. Steam is so fucking smart. They're the geniuses of the fucking world. It's like, no, is that not what Microsoft said? They're like, no, they wanted to do it worse and they want DRM. Is Steam not DRM? Is Steam not DRM? No, it's not. Yes, it is. You're fucking stupid because you have to sign in online first before you can use the game. Like,
I mean, you gotta look at it from here though. Steam's rise was when Windows gaming fell off.
Yes,
literally, Steam took everything that Windows gaming was
and
made it their own because Windows gaming fell apart. And that's why, like now, Microsoft is working alongside with Steam to get things better again.
I agree. I agree with you right there. That when Steam did come out, it did kind of push the PC market when Windows was stepping away from it. But everything that they'd done and what Microsoft was trying to do was the same thing that has already been done, and yet people do not see that. They're stupid about it. That's what irked me. It's just like Steam. People don't realize you have to be online first and sign into your account before you can play those games offline. You have to sign in once before you can play those games offline. And whenever you shut down your computer, you have to sign in online again. Most games nowadays, all online. Division, Destiny, Splatoon,
not Splatoon.
Well, for some of it, but yeah, because that one I believe has a single player. But a lot of games now all online.
I get you though.
Yeah, and it's just like people don't realize that online internet is so much easier and accessible than it was before. That these online push was because of the fact that it was proper for what was coming in the future. That too many people didn't want to look at it that way and let the words at that time scare them. They fell into the fear mongering, and a part of it was presentation, how they presented the information, how they were kind of presenting it to everyone. I won't deny that it was their delivery and how they explained it was not the best. but what they did back then is what they're doing now, and people are more okay with it. We've seen, you know, the slow transition to digital. Look at when they introduced the games with gold. Look at when they introduced Game Pass. Everything is more digital, and people are okay with that. They started having these bigger sales. You know, they have a summer sale, they have their E3 sale, they have the Black Friday sale, they have an end of year sale, giving some brand new games on big discounts. Last year during Black Friday, I got Wolfenstein 2, I got Need for Speed Payback, and I got Assassin's Creed Origins, all brand new games within a few weeks old, on half off for their like gold edition or their like special edition that came with all the DLC for almost the cost of the standard edition or cheaper. Like, that's a great sale for digital that they're able to start doing because they're making that push. That's what people are failing to understand, you know? And just, you know, Nintendo's right there with them. They're trying to push the digital, though they kind of need to step it up.
It seems like Nintendo is starting to catch up, but go ahead, Davinon.
I want to actually touch on that because Blade Knuckles, you hammered so many points, bruh.
He does that.
So many points. But there was one thing I actually want to mention to like really highlight and elevate your points even more. There's reason why people don't really trust Xbox. It's because Xbox has always been the black horse of the console race. You really think about it, since the first Xbox came out, everyone was like, what's this? You only had Nintendo and Sony, and out of nowhere, Microsoft comes out with a system. Everyone's like, oh, that sucks. All they got is Halo. Like, the running joke for Xbox was the only game they have is Halo. That was the running joke for Xbox for a long time. Yeah. And when you had Xbox 360 come out, and then they expanded to their third-party games, then the running joke was Xbox is stealing all of PlayStation games. Case in point, Grand Theft Auto and Final Fantasy 11 at the time. So you had so many different things with Xbox that people just already had preconceived notions about that they did not like at all. Next, you go up to Xbox One X, Xbox One, and they was waiting for something to nitpick with Xbox. The price, then all these rules and all these restrictions, and it's like, when it comes down to marketing, it's like you can't tell people what they can't do, because automatically they're going to get upset. Even if they're not using these things, they're going to get upset because you say you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do that. So all they see is the restrictions and not the possibilities and what it could possibly mean in the future. No one's asking, well, how is this going to really innovate, or how this is going to really be great for the future? No one's thinking that. Everyone's thinking, well, I want to do what I want with my games. And Xbox and Microsoft, they're like, hey, we're going to let you do that, just in a different way. One company that has been notorious for doing this and everyone gives them a pass, Nintendo. Nintendo always does what they want. Nintendo always, I could give you a game that is not quote unquote consumer friendly, and we just talked about it, Splatoon. Splatoon is not a quote unquote consumer friendly game, yet the game has sold over 6 million copies in under a year.
It is not a consumer friendly. They will not update that game and bounce that game to save their lives, bro.
But they will keep putting out expansions for him.
Well, they'll keep putting out new weapons and expansions, but they won't bounce the game. But what were you saying before, Abaddon, that you said that you wish that Xbox would have just stayed at home and not changed their policies whenever they first came out with those
Here's the thing.
in 2013?
I felt like most people's responses were just knee-jerk reactions. 100%. And this is the problem, is when knee-jerk reactions can ruin a console or can ruin an experience. And that's why I had to even make a video myself addressing the knee-jerk reactions when it comes to Nintendo's E3s in a similar fashion, because people have a big problem with putting an overemphasis on E3. E3 should not be as big as what it really is in video games. E3 is just a teaser. E3 is not the Super Bowl of video games. It is not the Christmas of video games, because we think that there's so much of an importance on E3 when it really isn't. It's just an expo.
Right.
It's just an expo that you go to, you see new trailers for video games. Yes, you get to see the new consoles. Yes, that's it. Leave it at that. E3 should not be what makes or breaks a system or what makes or breaks a game.
Or a company for that matter, because I mean, we've seen it now. We see all over YouTube. Who won E3? Which company won E3? Which company was the best at E3? And I tend to agree, like, why does it have to be a competition? They're just showing what they have down the pipe. Does it really matter?
Exactly.
I remember people were saying, well, Xbox won E3 this year, or Bethesda was the winner of E3 this year. And I was like, does it really matter who won E3? Because in the end of the day, we're all gamers and we get those games for us. So,
exactly.
So
and I put in the fact of the reason it's such a big thing is that it is a showcase. And Avedon makes a good point. It's an expo. What do you do at an expo? You exhibit your shit. So you
expose stuff.
Yes, you expose and exhibit your shit. And literally the only reason it became so big is because the big console makers, the big companies had these conferences on showing, hey, this is what we have coming. That's literally when it started to turn into this big thing of who won E3, this, and that. And that started back probably really last generation when Microsoft really kind of stepped it up. With the 360 and everything, that's when, you know, the whole who won E3 thing kind of started seeing that. But literally E3 was just before being all about gamers. It was an expo for retailers to show, hey,
this is what we got coming for the future. Research.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, man.
Oh yeah, no, it was literally them inviting their partners within the industry saying, hey, these are the games that we have planned for the next, so long. This is what y'all are going to be seeing coming into y'all stock and stores and stuff like that. But as they started becoming more public and showing off more online and being able to make a big presentation, that's when gamers really got involved with it. But I mean, this year, yes, we can say that Microsoft won. That's because of the fact that they changed their narrative and really focused on doing what they needed to do, showing off, hey, we're listening to gamers. This is where it comes to, and really is a big presentation for them saying, hey, we're listening, or hey, we're not listening. With Microsoft, they presented, hey, we're listening to gamers. Y'all say we don't have enough studios. Boom, here's 5 new ones. We just doubled our output. You want exclusive games? Here's 18 games that have some sort of semblance of exclusivity, either through our ID or our actual stuff. You want to see things that no one else is showing off? Boom, here you go. We're going to show off all these games from our third parties that you're also going to be able to play elsewhere. You know, that's what they did. When Bethesda showed off their stuff, we know what Bethesda's doing because Bethesda is masters of their presentation with their game because it's literally their stuff. They know how to do it. They can be flashy with it. They can take the time to tease Fallout. They can take the time to tease Elder Scrolls because those are names that people know as a multi-plat that will get anyone excited. People have come to love Doom because Doom has been around since the 90s. People know Wolfenstein because that's
Doom has been around since like the 80s.
Yeah, going real back forever. Blame floppy disk and all that.
Mama wouldn't even let me play Doom back in the day, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying though, is that people could say they win, but it's the fact of they're using their own intellectual properties that people know across all platforms for multiple generations. It's easy to hype those things up. But the thing still comes down to is that E3 is literally now just about gamers because it gives us a glimpse into the industry and see, hey, these are what these companies are working on and what they want to show us to get that intimacy between gamer and developer, something that was very hands-off in the early years. You know,
not only that.
Go ahead.
Not only that, but like the reason everybody says that Xbox won E3 is not only the fact that they brought their own presentation about everything, but they had all these companies wanting to show off their stuff using the Xbox One X graphics because the X has the true 4K graphics. And who else? I mean, what else better way to show off your own stuff than in the best form?
Exactly.
True. So it's safe to say that we are all excited for future games coming out this year and next year.
Oh yes.
E3 showed so much, and it's good to see that all 3 companies are about to pretty much do very well.
To be brutally honest,
they're doing big.
To be brutally honest, I think they showed too much good stuff. I ain't got enough money for the good stuff they showed.
There was a lot of games this year, like games next year, the Kingdom Hearts, the Divisions.
Yeah. Serge, I'm right there with you. Being at the Xbox conference live and seeing all the announcements and throughout the week, seeing everything that's coming, my wallet's gonna be so fucking broke come holiday,
My wallet,
and I'm barely gonna have any
dude.
reprieve. I'm gonna have no reprieve because come January at the end, going into February, and like probably early March, it's just like more games coming. So I'm gonna have like a 2-month window of like no money spent, and that's all gonna be burned again.
I'm gonna have to file bankruptcy to get all the games I want.
Work some overtime.
And especially while we're on this, like Nick, and for all of us here, because we're all Nintendo fans and Japanese fans.
We're moving on to the next subject.
There's a lot of great Japanese games coming, dude.
Oh my goodness,
I'm so excited. I talked about it on my show, but
I don't even want to get into that because that's a whole different rabbit hole.
I talked about a lot of it for those people who want to know. So there's my shameless plug.
So I was actually about to subscribe to you on Bloody Knuckles, but it seems I'm already subbed. Okay, so
that's the homie. Bloody Knuckles is the homie. But either way, so we're gonna move on to the next subject. This next subject comes with a disclaimer. This is going to be our anime discussion. So, My Hero Academia. If you have not seen or been caught up for season 3, be warned. Will be a sort of spoiler discussion of what is happening. So, okay, this will be. There's no sorta. This will be a spoiler discussion about what is going on in the arc right now. So, fair warning, you have been warned. So, last week I did not get to touch on My Hero Academia. It was more of a shorter podcast from my buddy Salty about E3. Just going over that real quick. Didn't get to go over the last episode, so there was a lot of things that happened since then in My Hero Academia. Starting off with the All for One fight, with All Might.
Oh, hang on. Before you go on, NX, those are some fighting words right there.
Okay, hold on. NX is the homie. He's just trolling. He's way ahead on the manga. Don't let him spoil anything for you. He's just out here making jokes and spoiling stuff. But let's just start here because the last time we did a podcast, we talked about pretty much what was going down. All for One showed up, and that was it. So I want to continue from there, from the All for One fight. All of just that whole dialogue starting off. All for One shows up, and pretty much the Deku and the dudes are trying to rescue Bakugo. They get Bakugo out, and then the fighting commences. I mean, bruh, there was so much emotion in these last, even this past episode, but especially the last 3. When we find out All Might's about to start losing his spark. We find out who Shigaraki truly is. We find out, we actually get to see All Might's predecessor, mentor, and Nana Shimura. We got to see that. Bro, Abaddon, I'm gonna start with you, homie. I'm gonna start with you. Like, bruh, these last few episodes, including this newest one that came out, even this newest one was great. Even though it was supposed to be filler, that episode had so much meaning. Bro, just start with you, bro. We'll start with you. Go ahead and just let them know. Oh my gosh, what did you think about these last few episodes of the story arc, bro? Because it was just way emotional for me, and I can't even talk no more, bro.
First of all, when we saw All Might start fighting All for One, and then they had to end the first part of the episode, go to the next week episode.
Yes,
I was like, why do you do this? Why did you do a 2-episode that? Why couldn't it just be a 2-part episode that week, man?
Right.
But I just said, okay, I can bear it. We got through, and it looked like I haven't really seen All Might. We've never seen All Might in a battle where he doesn't smile. This is the first one.
No. We saw it for the first time against Nomu back in season 1.
Yeah, but he smiled though.
Yeah, he was smiling then.
After the end of the fight, but when he first got there and saw about the League of Villains, he wasn't smiling at all.
Yeah, I will give you that with the Nomu, but towards the end, he did smile.
Yeah.
And he gave that confident smile at the end towards Shigaraki. And this one, he did not smile at all, even after he won.
100%.
That's the part that got me the most. Because it's like, after he beat down All For One, first of all, I don't care what no one says, United States of Smash is hype.
Yes.
United States of Smash.
Oh my gosh.
I was not ready for that attack because the way he did it, he pulled a Deku move. He allowed himself to get super injured with his arm, and then he started using his smarts. I was like, I didn't know All Might was this crafty.
He pulled a page out of Deku's book for sure on that one, like with just outsmarting him. Because normally All Might's been able to just take down anybody with brute strength and ability, and this time around,
for real,
that move,
he threw that left hook. Let him catch it, then try to throw the right. When he stopped that, he would just let it like go completely limp and let him destroy that arm and just threw that left hook again and fucking knocked him, dude.
I didn't put my back into it. I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the episode before, you had Gran Torino talking about how much Deku was really just like All Might. And I mean, I'm pretty sure when All Might was younger, which, you know, at some point in time, we will have a point where we get to see All Might's past.
Oh, we are in the movie.
I bet you it's pretty much probably like a mirror image of what Deku is now.
If you think about it, that's kind of what Gran Torino's hinted at. He's just like, the boy takes after you more than he should, because he's always talking about All Might's, how he was as a kid with Nana. And he keeps talking about who Deku's, you know, learning from. He's like, you're not training that boy in the right way. He's taking on your bad habits.
True.
And one thing I will say about this, but going into just yesterday's episode, which I'm a little upset that Stimulcast has delayed the dubs now. I'm like,
you and me both, my dude. You and me both. And the Bloody Knuckles don't even say nothing. I already know what you're gonna say. The sub is the only way to watch this. Sub is the only way to watch this. Oh, bruh. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. But this dub is one of the best dubs ever.
Look, I've stated this before. Me and you've talked about this on my show, Nick. Is that I don't hate this dub. I really don't.
You shouldn't.
The people who do the voices really do put a lot into it. It's just that the way some of the voices are portrayed and the personalities that go with it just are very polarizing to me for them. Like, everyone makes fun of Great Boy. Well, in the English dub, he has a slur and he sounds like he's talking like this 24/7,
which is
and
awesome.
I find that so off-putting about his character. And then like Bakugo's character is not angry enough to really match his personality.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that one. I do agree with
and,
that one.
Well, I love Chris Sabat. Okay, he's done so much, but he sounds like a Vegeta trying too hard to be nice.
Don't you do it? Nope, he sounds like Alex Louis Armstrong.
Can I say it?
Go ahead, Abaddon.
I'm gonna say this, and Blade Knuckles, you may unfollow me for this, but this is Chris Sabat's best role. It's the one that he more in himself.
I completely will agree with that. Like I said, the work that he does as All Might and the voice actor who does Deku, both of them are great, and during some of the more emotional scenes, because I've seen them in English, phenomenal scenes. The thing is, just like, because of the fact that Chris Sabat's voice is so iconic for Vegeta, I do see where he's doing All Might as his own personality, but
he's something like Piccolo to me.
Yeah, he sounds like you say Vegeta. I'm agree with him. I hear more Piccolo and Alex Louis Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist than I do.
No, I stated that it was very noticeable during his speech during the Nomu fight in English that you could really hear it. Oh, don't get me wrong, I love the speech too. It still gets me every time, but when you hear it, I always hear Vegeta's voice just trying really hard to be good.
I think you just trying really hard to criticize a great dub.
No. I've stood behind dubs, and you know this. It's just that this one,
Yu Yu Hakusho is the best dub. Okay, I said it.
I will not deny that. Still one of the best dubs around besides Cowboy Bebop and Trigun.
There you go.
But while the dub is great, I still feel like the sub for this one is just a phenomenal sub all the way around, just from the way that the characters really do. When you hear All Might and Deku's conversations and during some of the more moments, you really hear the emotion. But again, I'm not knocking the dub on this one. It's an amazing dub. I just found it more entertaining and easier to get and enjoy more in sub in this one. Okay. But if for people who enjoy dub, that for this one, I absolutely say, if you want to hear it in English and in the dub, go for it. It is not bad like a lot of others. If you want to see bad dubs, I'm talking, you know.
Because
no, I'm not.
here's why I'm upset. Because of how I'm planning to do my channel with more anime reviews, I now have to watch the sub to stay up, and I cannot watch the dub, and that really kind of made me upset a little bit.
Part of that's because of Funimation.
yes, I know. But let me just get into this one topic real quick, because through these episodes we got to see the fight between All Might and All For One, but between fights and scenes, they showed a lot of backstory between all of them. But like a lot of people,
them especially see more of All Might's past.
One of the things I want to touch on is we now found out the origin of Shigaraki, where he came from. We also found out that he was put in foster care on purpose by his grandmother because she did not want him to.
No. Remember,
wasn't that the case?
Said that she put her child.
Okay, that's what. Okay, she put her child into foster care because she did not want them to be involved with the whole, I guess you can call it hero world, whatever. She didn't want that to be a part of them. So we slowly learned that. We learned about that origin, that he is now All Might's mentor's grandson. And that puts a little bit more to me. When I heard that was one of the whole jaw-dropping, like, no way, like, that's not fair. And it's kind of crazy because now it's lining up to be, now it's gonna be the Deku and Shigaraki rivalry. And
you know what's funny about this is, me and you've talked about this with my crew on the show, is that the story of My Hero isn't just about All Might or All For One and One For All between All Might and his. It really is about Deku and Shigaraki, because we're seeing both of their growths at the same time.
Yes,
Deku really coming into his stance as a hero, and we've seen Shigaraki really coming into a role as a very meticulous and well thought out villain. Yes. Because both of them, when they started out, both childish, both completely like careless with their abilities, and kind of just went all out with it. And then over time, they've really started to really show their colors. We saw how All For One has really been training and getting Shigaraki to think, after we saw Stain's arc and saw how he was just like, well, I could use Stain's ideology to attract more people here, and then change it to what I need to be able to attract more villains. We see that he's really growing into that role, and Deku really started to think more, okay, I know that I'm hurting myself. What can I do to kind of mitigate it or use it in a way that will benefit, even if I have to sacrifice, you know? And the only time we saw him have to go all out and brute force it was in the muscular fight, which was amazing.
Yeah, that one was amazing. They mentioned that in this past episode, when they were in that group, they were all talking about everything that happened. And they said that Tomura Shigaraki seems to be getting, instead of him acting like a child, he seems to be getting more meticulous and
more smarter and
getting more dangerous.
And maturing that, you know, even when they lose, they're still winning, because of the fact that they're gaining new attention.
Right, and so that was one thing I thought was interesting, you know, with the whole Shigaraki, him revealing that. What did you guys think of them actually showing us Nana Shimura? Like, first of all, I didn't know she was a woman. That's the first thing I'm gonna just say.
Yeah, I know, right?
That was
they kind of hinted at it because of the way that he would talk about his mentor and his teacher, and then the way that Gran Torino would always mention or kind of allude to it. I had a feeling that it was going to be a woman.
Did you mention that the movie's going to be about this origin story of All Might, right?
Yes, because when the movie comes out, which is going to be in August for Japan, so we're probably going to see it here in around October time, that it's going to be, right now it's in a weird spot in the timeline. I can't say for sure, because of the fact that All Might still kind of has his powers and he takes Deku on a trip, but we know Deku's already messing up his arms. But in it, we're gonna see a lot more of All Might's younger years when he first came out onto the scene as All Might, as started pushing to be the symbol of peace, because one of the guys that they showed is his friend who kind of helped make certain gadgets to kind of help All Might and kind of work with him. Right. And they created, you know, the little wrap that's going to help Deku be able to use his arms still without having to like destroy them like more so than he already does. but it is going to go into a lot more of All Might's past and explain what happened to his eyes, because a lot of people have been like, oh my god, All Might has eyes, and Deku mentioned it once in the early episodes that kind of went past people, is that All Might actually got into a fight much when he was younger that actually caused his eyes to kind of go dark like they are. So that's why we're gonna see that he actually has his full irises and everything.
Right. I will say this much. I really wish we got to see more of his mentor, because she was like, of what little we got to see,
she was so entertaining. Seeing her and Gran Torino interacting was something special, dude.
What do you think, Abaddon? Like, what do you think about her? Like, as far as them introducing her, and we got to see her, but we didn't get to see enough. And like, for me, honestly, I almost fell in love with that character just in that one episode.
I would say we're gonna probably see more of her, probably like towards like in the movie. They're probably just saving up for her. It's kind of like one of those things where you get a glimpse of who she is,
right?
But you're not gonna really know who she is until a big backstory, because the pacing of My Hero Academia is not to spend too much time on one episode, not to spend too much time talking about one thing. They give you bits and pieces as they go along, which to me has been doing this anime a great service, because you don't feel like you was told too much of one boring thing in one episode. You get a little bit of everything, and they prepare you for big events as they go along. So for a movie, this will be perfect. And I think that when we see how she was and how she fought, we'll even learn. I believe that we're gonna even learn how who her master is, basically who her real potential was, who trained her, who made her, as strong as she is.
Right. And how this gets passed down, because they mentioned that as it gets passed down from generation, it got stronger and stronger and stronger as it got passed down. So we're going to get to see that, which kind of makes me wonder what's Deku going to be like. He's about to be that next level. Like, that's going to be crazy. But
I have one thing to say to that. I have a feeling that, and I see what the fake mate has said, I have a feeling that Deku is going to be one of the one-armed heroes. I think something's going to happen where he's going to lose one of his arms.
I don't think so, because I feel like we're seeing more of him start to understand how to use his legs more. So I think he's got to kind of switch it up. I think we're not going to really see him lose too much of his arms, but he is going to have to rely more on gadgets. And I think that's where we're going to see maybe May kind of show back up and show off her prowess, as well as what we're going to see in the movie.
I did like her.
I love May. That's my girl right there.
I thought Toga was your girl.
Look, May, Jiro, and Toga are my three. Okay, I'm all for that.
I'm gonna be mad.
Speaking of Jiro, we'll get to that in a second. But
yes,
Abaddon, I agree with you, man, that seeing the little bit of Nana that we did in that episode, I did fall in love with her so quickly. Like, her personality really shows off in what she was and what she kind of taught and stuck with All Might from her. Yeah. Hey, you have to always smile, you can't let anything be, kind of prevent that. You have to be everything, when he stated that he wanted to be the symbol of peace, because that's the reason why crime hasn't stopped and everything or gone down. So it's very interesting to see that. And as you put it, dude, the United States of Smash. There's a reason I use that intro in my show, because of the fact that was one of the first single panels I saw for My Hero after the first few episodes from the manga. And I was just like, oh dude, this is awesome, when I saw that all of his attacks are based off of states. And I was just like, yo, he must go straight up Super Saiyan to destroy a man with using the full force of the US. Right. What were you saying? Serge?
I mean, I'm gonna say opposite of Abaddon. I really have a feeling with the whole Nana situation, I have a feeling based off of just watching it, and back in season 1 during the it wasn't season 1, it was more season 2, wasn't it? But the festival.
Sports festival.
The sports festival. Yeah.
When he had that premonition.
Yeah, when he saw all of the people that have carried the One for All, I have the feeling that it's going to be complete Avatar style inner body. He's going to be able to meet everyone that's ever held the One for All power.
That would be pretty.
You know what? That they did mention that, because now that you talk about that, I do remember is that
all about that
Gran Torino.
That's where I think we're really. Before the movie even comes out, I think that's where we're gonna really learn about Nana.
I don't think that it'll be before the movie. I think maybe by the end of the season, because right now we're on episode, I think, 12 of this season, and we got another 13 episodes. If not by the end of this season, we definitely will by the next season when that comes on. I definitely think so.
Oh yeah. But yeah, well, like y'all were saying about the whole United States of Smash, I thought that was like the most perfect way to end that fight.
Oh,
Bro. Cratered him with that move, dude. Straight up. Like, we're talking like 10 feet deep.
I'm gonna do this on.
It was the Kamehameha times 100 move there.
I'm gonna do this on the stream just so people see. But the most emotional part for me was when All Might pointed at the camera.
It
said now.
Oh yeah,
now.
Yeah, in that episode, that camera, that was the most.
I wasn't ready for it.
I've ever seen. I've never seen something like that in an anime.
See, and you know what's funny is that was a great way to show on the passing of the torch, because and you know, we've seen that passing of the torch, and this. Okay, I'm gonna kind of go off on a little stint here. Is that
here we go.
Horikoshi? The reason I think My Hero does so well is because Horikoshi has worked on mangas for so long, no storytelling and no shonen. And what he's doing with Hiro Aka is completely different and breaking every shonen trope, because he doesn't want it to just be a cut and paste of everything we've seen before. He really has switched up everything. Like, even with Deku being as powerful of a protag as he is, he has to sacrifice so much to really use his power. You know, he's completely thrown that aspect on its head, because look at Dragon Ball. You know, we know Goku's strong, and when he loses, you know, their get out card was, hey, he's a Saiyan. When they're about to die, they get stronger than ever. And it's just like, well, fuck, that's their get out card. We've seen with Bleach, it's just like, oh, you know, you're a Soul Reaper. Now you can be able to really change up your Bankai and touch into your soul even deeper. Or now you're part hollow, so you have even more stronger. Now you're both together. It's like, what the fuck are these forms? They make no sense. Why? But with Hiro Aka, they've really shown the fact of that the power really does come from the training and what it takes to really improve. And we've seen how powerful all the other students are, but Deku didn't have those years of training. He has to sacrifice so much more to be able to really use everything he has, and we're kind of slowly seeing him be strong in it. Trained, but he's also being strong in another way.
All the training, all the way through, you're seeing like the progressiveness of him.
Exactly, because look at the internship alone. What they did in those few episodes is that, hey, you need to stop using your full power and thinking that it's gonna go like that. Control it, and that's when he invented full cowling, and just like, all right, well, if I just use a little bit all the way instead of just trying to shift it back and forth, you know, maybe that'll help out more. And that's why he has 5% full cowling. You know, we're really starting to see that he's being strong by using his mind, which was his biggest thing before. And that's really what kind of pushes it. And with the way that they passed on the torch this way, with All For One going to jail and kind of talking about how, you know, you sending me to jail as you think this is going to stop. No, this is only going to push him to be more independent and make Shigaraki all the more stronger as a villain.
He's a good teacher. Oh my gosh. Like,
and in this one, you know, All Might is sticking by Deku. He's just like, I'm retired. I'm going to stand by you and teach you. And the fact that it's not the passing on the torch that we've seen him before. Like, look at Naruto, right? Jiraiya had to die before Naruto really stepped up and took on what Jiraiya was teaching him. And every other, you know, shonen the teacher always has to die. And this one, it's completely different. I think that maybe down the line.
Hold on, because I was getting ready to get to that. Because I was getting ready to move that forward to the next episode. I was gonna say, what did you guys think of that exchange between All Might and Deku's mom whenever she told him that she did not want him to go to UA because she felt like he would be protected? And then Deku goes into his room, comes back out, and says, "I don't have to go to UA. I just want to be a hero." And All Might's reaction and his commitment, that he said that his commitment to just mentoring Deku, the feels that I got. The feels that I got.
I'd have to say that was like the most humbling episode I have ever seen.
Dude, that was one of the most emotionally draining and too good episodes of any anime because of the fact that that one was just so pure. There was so much emotion in it. Like as soon as
it was so genuine.
It was genuine. Literally, as soon as Deku's mom objected, was sitting down with All Might, I was heartbroken. I was straight ugly crying during that whole exchange. I was just like, no, why you do this? And then when you see Deku's just like, I don't care if it's UA. He's just like, this letter makes me realize I'm a hero. And then just All Might just like, you who I neglected and didn't train properly are already so much further on the path than I could have ever thought. And the way he performed a dogza, really like kneeling down and apologizing to the highest extent in Japanese culture. That was the most humbling and just like emotional thing that happened, because when he did it, I was just like, no, are you really doing this? Dude, I was straight bawling, like straight up.
It had me feeling some type of way, bro. I was feeling, oh my gosh.
I want to talk about this too.
Go ahead.
I want to talk about this too, because first I want to mention both families. I want to mention, starting with Bakugo's family.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I knew you were going there. Part most, because I don't know about you guys, I just assumed like his father or somehow one of his family members was dead, and that's why he was like this. We was gonna find that out later on. But no, it's because his mom is just as much of a jerk as he is.
Right? She was just sitting there like beating him in the back of the head, just smacking him, and he's like, die you old tag. She's like, shut your mouth. And he's just like, well, his dad was just like, well, maybe you should stop. He's like, shut up, old man. She's like, don't talk to your dad like that.
Yeah, dude.
And I was like, oh my god.
If you're gonna talk, you need to speak up.
Right?
Go ahead, Avatar.
When you saw him ask All Might, what is Deku to you? I knew he remembered what Deku told him originally. And I was like, oh snap. So I don't feel as though he's gonna turn, but I feel as though he's gonna be that number 2 hero.
No, I actually think opposite right there, because of the fact that I think, remember in the very first episode, Deku states that he becomes the greatest hero, the number 1 hero.
Yep.
However, with the way that Bakugo has really matured, and that exchange alone, I think that when they graduate and when they go on to be full-on heroes, that Bakugo is going to be number 1 for the longest time before Deku, and it's going to be the rivalry really kind of pushing, and that Deku's real growth is finally standing up to Bakugo and really showing what he had in turn, and that's when we really see that he becomes the number 1. I think Bakugo is going to be the number one hero for a while, and Deku is going to be number 2 until we finally get to the end of the story where we see he overcomes Bakugo and really stands up for himself after their history.
Because it's apparent he looks up to Bakugo, like he copies his moves and everything, the way he did everything. Yeah, I want to jump right into the exchange between All Might and his mom. So looking at those 2 families, seeing what All Might had to go through, looking at both families, because these are his 2 favorite students. And when I saw how he just humbled himself, I was like, yo, hold up. I was not ready for that. I was not ready to see that. I was like, yo, did he just really kneel? And the mother wasn't ready for that. She's like, wait, what are you doing?
Yeah, she's like, All Might's in my house and he's kneeling. First of all, she was excited. She was blown away that All Might came to the house to begin with. Remember, she was like, this is All Might. He's coming to our house. And then
both of them are just sitting there shaking. Like, she's like, come on in. He's just like, Mom, don't be nervous. And they're both just kind of like walking down all stiff. And you see All Might just walking through the hall, and he looks in Izuku's room and just sees all the All Might. You just kind of see that like internal smile, like, yeah, he really has been looking up to me for so long.
But looking at the exchange, and it's like what Deku said. I think Deku said one thing that I was like, he took responsibility in himself. It wasn't like, I want to make people notice, he did not fight his mom so much on this. It was almost he was trying to win her over because he was taking responsibility of the fact that he was ignoring her feelings.
Yes.
Said that. He says, this is a direct result of ignoring how you felt for so long.
Right. This is my fault. This is on me. I was reckless. I was the one going out and not listening to them and destroying my own body. Like, and I love that. I actually really love that.
And that kind of goes to show his growth as a character.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to touch on.
Yeah. And look at it. Look at what he did when he went all out during the tournament arc, especially against Todoroki. Like, we saw that he threw all self-preservation straight out the window. He reused his broken arms multiple times when he was fighting everything and fucked it all up. Look at how he broke his legs.
His hands were all crippled, like everything.
Yeah. And then he did it again during the Stain fight shortly after. Like he completely, tore the bone, fractured the bones in his hands and tore the muscles right there. We see the scars kind of building up. Like, we really have seen that growth in Deku. And I think that this kind of shows the more humanistic side of this anime with the way that you present it, is that the fact of he did show that, hey, I'm hurting my mom because I didn't think about how she felt. I only thought about me.
100%, Brad. And I'm going to just say this, and everybody's gonna kill me for this. And I don't care. But after this episode, because no episode of My Hero Academia, you already know where I'm going. No episode of My Hero Academia has not been pointless, except for maybe that one episode with Sue on the boat.
Hey, you leave her alone. You leave her alone.
The first episode of season 3.
Or the first episode of season 3 that introduced everything that was going on, but they quickly got into the drama of that. But bro, I'm saying it right now, My Hero Academia for me, it's the greatest anime of all time. Greatest anime of all time already.
I can't believe you.
When it gets 4 straight seasons of perfection, then
it will get 4 seasons of perfection. I have that much faith in
right
this,
now.
Dude.
I can't believe you talk crap about that episode with Froppy.
No. I didn't talk crap about it. No. I enjoyed that episode. I was just saying that was just one of those filler episodes,
No,
but it was
they were really showing like everybody's internship, and they never really went to that. So it probably didn't need to be an entire full episode of her, but she was never part of any of the other internships.
She was half the episode. The other half was like showing off Kirishima and Tetsu, showing off Momo. We saw a little bit of Mineta. Then we saw Todoroki, and then we saw Bakugo, and then it was all about Froppy.
I was happy for that episode. I liked that episode.
All right, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'm just stating things here.
You're gonna have to smack a bitch up.
But hey, how about the fact that I didn't even know Todoroki had a sister till this episode.
I didn't know that either.
And then come to find out, she literally looks the same, just like him, except for her hair. It has just like red spikes.
Yeah. What do you think her powers are?
Well, remember that.
I think she's got the same powers.
No, remember that during Todoroki's origin episode, that he talked about his dad having 2 other kids before Todoroki was the perfect mix, because he said that he had a son that was unnamed, and then he had 2 daughters, and then Todoroki.
I just thought that was cool.
Yeah, but you had never seen any of them till this episode.
No, there was one during the internship episode when he was with his dad. He saw that his sister was out in the yard. We saw his younger sister, not his younger older sister, not the older sister.
Bro, what about Endeavor in the weight room? Losing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, he was flipping.
He was mad. He was like, "Not this way. This is not how I wanted to become number 1."
He was livid.
He was so mad. Now, and you know that's got to stick with him forever. That's going to stick with him forever, that he could not actually overtake All Might. All Might literally gave it away, and everybody knows.
Yeah, All Might had to pretty much retire for him to get it.
Yeah,
I don't want it like this.
Right.
You know what that's like? That's like you are going to wrestle your favorite wrestler of all time. Like the one you say, that's my rival. I'm gonna beat you. And the only reason why you beat him because he has an injury.
So let's just say, and this is a basketball
honest,
reference. Endeavor is the Hakeem Olajuwon of My Hero Academia.
That's messy. That's messy.
I had to do it
there,
but
I had to do it.
I really feel like that scene right there. See, y'all were talking about there's a possibility for Bakugo to be #1 for a while. I really see that episode
Tokiyami
kind of being the remake of that same rivalry between Deku and Bakugo. I see that same thing where Bakugo is trying to fight to keep this whole, like, trying to get up to #1, but because of the passion and strength of Deku, he's going to be behind. I see him being Endeavor in the future.
Hey, whoa, hang on there, fake mate. I'm sorry that I have a really great memory. I can recall a lot of things.
This man's the anime king, bro. He said, pays too much attention. Look, I think in the future there's going to be 4, maybe 5 heroes out of this academy that are going to be like the next one.
The next
Todoroki,
the next generation.
The top
Deku, Bakugo, Tokiyami. I said it. Tokiyami's going to be there, dude. And maybe Ida or Yayurozo, because they seem to be focusing on her a lot.
Of course, Todoroki's going to be part of it.
Oh yeah, it's going to be. I think when they graduate before the end of the story, before Deku finally hits #1, that it's going to be Bakugo, Deku, Todoroki, Lita, Tokoyami. And then and then like the next 5 underneath that would be like Yaoyorozu, Uraraka or Uravity, and then we're gonna see Kirishima with Crimson Riot, and then maybe 2 others.
You know, it's gonna be crazy, but I don't remember his name, but it's the guy that does electricity.
Denki. I love Denki.
I feel like somehow, some way, some shape, some form, before they get out of school, he is going to figure out how to use his power.
No.
I see it.
Well, remember,
he
says that he can use his power. It's just whenever he does large bolts that
I'm talking about himself. Fully controlling his power.
You guys are wrong. It's about to be Tokiyami. Tokiyami's about to be that next level, dude. That's the only way that this anime will get better for me. It's already great. Tokiyami becomes that next level. All I want to see is Tokiyami, bro. Tokiyami's my favorite. He's awesome. Revelry in the night. That's all I can say about that.
Revelry in the dark. You can't
Revelry
even say
it right.
Right.
Whatever.
Well, no, we've already established that Tokiyami is going to be one of the top 5.
Yeah, Tokiyami's the next level, man.
Yeah.
Either way,
I'm telling you, we've already determined Tokiyami is going to be one of the top 5.
Absolutely.
But we're talking about one of the complete underdogs that you pretty much think aren't going to go anywhere. I say that he is going to figure out. Is going to figure out how to completely control his power.
I think Jiro has a lot of potential, and I'm glad that this episode we got to see her again after the incident and see her family. Like that made me laugh. Is that they are very much hardcore rockers, like I would expect out of the way she dresses. I was like, yeah, I love you, Jiro. I do.
I mean, it was really funny just the fact that she was like completely dogging out her dad. He's just like, I was trying to be a strict parent.
Like he's like, no, don't worry about it. As I said, and All Might. When he saw you fighting, he was just like, yes, I can't believe my daughter's being trained by her.
Hey, Jerome Smith in the chat. Welcome to the podcast, by the way, bro. Thank you for stopping by, bro. But he says, I want to see other schools introduced and heroes and other
I do
countries.
know.
I love that 100%.
idea. And this isn't a spoiler. This isn't a spoiler. Because this was part of the key visual art that they released before, is that we are supposed to see All Might's original successor, known as Lemillion, appear, as well as we're also supposed to see some of the other schools start appearing, some of the other schools in Japan and in Tokyo. So we are should be seeing some of them later this season. But the big thing first, we are gonna see Lemillion. And this isn't too much of a spoiler just based on his name and because of what he was doing, is he was one of the few people who actually can full on go 1,000,000% one for all.
Ooh.
I really feel like the whole thing with the talking about bringing in other schools. I see them coming out with another way of doing a sports festival, but between schools.
I think,
and you'll see Class 1A, and Class 1B start actually working together.
You know what? And that was the great thing about the training camp arc, and I believe that there's supposed to be another one. I think coming up sometime or something like that after like the dorm. But I did like that during the training camp we got to see some more of Class B. You know, we got to see Tetsu really show off. We got to see old girl with big fist really get to show off her
girl with the green hair, the girl with the vine hair.
Yeah, we got to see.
No, the girl with the vine hair pretty much was knocked out early.
Yeah,
We're talking about the class rep for B.
Class rep. Yeah, no, we're gonna see more. And old boy just whatever shut the hell up because he tries to talk all tough all the time. He gets knocked out. And yet he was in the remedial classes. But we also got to see the premiere of Bloodblad. Fucking one of the other top heroes and teachers.
That guy was tight. That guy was tight.
Yeah, his stuff was good.
All right. Well, we got to wrap this up, guys. We got to wrap this up. So
I've been rambling on.
We could talk about this all night. Literally, we probably could. But
we really could.
I know
really
I could.
You got to go for it because I'm like...
You know what's funny, Nick, is that when I was at E3 and I was hanging out with Super G, you know Super G reads the manga.
Yes.
And what's funny is we were sitting there talking because it was me, him, his brother, and his son and his nephew. And we were sitting there and waiting in line to see the Anthem live gameplay that EA plays. Ooh. And we were talking about My Hero, right? And he was mentioning certain things, and he's just like, man, he's like, I really wish we could talk about this. And I would sit there and they would say what they were talking about, but they wouldn't go into details. And I would just go, huh. So I'd take the information kind of infer. He's like, man, this dude over here exposed himself. He's like, don't tell me yet. He's always 100% accurate. I was like, I can't help it. I was like, I can't help it that I'm right. I just know the shit from what I see.
I'm just gonna go ahead and just My Hero is
it's that big 3 level
right now.
It is literally big 3 level
so good
and now, King of Shonen right now.
And I cannot wait for this to continue. So we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys for stopping by, Abaddon, Bloody, Lieutenant Surge. You guys are the bomb. Real quick before we get out of here, let's just tell everybody what you guys are doing, you know, what you guys are doing, your channels, stuff like that, where they can get a hold of you, all of that. Start with you, Lieutenant Surge. Go ahead.
Right now I'm kind of on a standstill, so I'm not really doing much at all at the moment.
Well, you are streaming.
I kind of ran into some money problems. Got to get me a new computer. But right now you can catch me on Twitch. You can catch me on Twitch, Risen Demon 27. I do a lot of Xbox gameplay. I do Let's Play style stuff, and I've been getting into viewer directed gameplay. Well, like I play Dark Souls, and I'm letting viewers pretty much control what I do.
Okay,
that's interesting.
So, I mean, it's a new twist on things. Trying to get people interested and get people into wanting to interact.
Yo, we got a new sub, Pablo. Thank you for the sub, my dude. Appreciate you. We hope that you are enjoying the podcast or the end of the podcast. Go ahead.
I'll just have Nintendo here drop my Twitch account in the description below.
I will. Bloody, hit them up. Let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, y'all guys can find me on my channel, Bloody Knuckle Smash Podcast. On Saturdays, we are your little corner of the internet for all things geeky goodness and nerdy news. You know, we talk about anime, comics, manga, movies, all that good stuff all the time. So it is what we do. Of course, I also stream off and on Mixer at mixer.com/bloodyknuckles. Just kind of all over the place, just doing things. But yeah, you want to talk more anime? I'm over there always going off every Saturday. Hopefully here I'll be switching up and being able to do anime reviews because this spring season has been hot, and this summer season is going to be even hotter. Just so much good stuff coming out.
Yes. Abaddon, the homie, the man. Thank you for coming through at such late notice, my dude. I appreciate you.
No problem, man.
I really do appreciate it, bro. Let the people know what you do, where they can find you, all the work you're putting in, because I know you're putting in a lot of work.
What don't I do? No, I'm playing. Let's see. I do live streams. I'm moving my live streams to weekends now. I used to do them throughout the week, but I do live streams between Nintendo or PC gaming. So I'm either playing games like Splatoon 2, Octopath Travelers, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Overwatch, Fortnite, Paladins, whatever the case may be. I like playing a lot of multiplayer games. I also love playing Street Fighter games too. So if you want to catch these L's and catch these hands, come watch my channel. Come join the fun. I also do OST reviews. I give opinions on the gaming industry, and I do a weekly news podcast every Friday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'd love to have you. And my good friend Nick will put my link in the description.
Yes, sir.
Check out the channel.
Yes, sir. And of course, I am Nintendo Direct. You guys knew that. You're here, and I appreciate every single one of you guys for stopping by. Plans in the future are coming. I do want to say real quick, I do apologize that I've been doing a lot more live streaming than I've been putting out actual content, but I've just been getting my ducks in a row, so you will be getting more content from me in the future. Announcement here, most of my streaming that I will be doing from here on out will be on Twitch. I will have a few live streams here and there, but for most part, when I'm playing the game, it'll be on Twitch, and you can check me out at the link I'm getting ready to share. But either way, I appreciate you guys, everybody, for stopping by. You guys are the greatest. I appreciate all the guests. You guys are awesome. Abaddon, Bloody, everybody. Chips just said, awesome, just saw the episode.
Welcome to, homie.
All right, man. You guys are the greatest. So tune in next week. Next episode will not be so late. Next episode will probably be, 7:30 Central Time, 8:30 Eastern. That's when I plan on doing these on Sundays. So tune in then. I only did this because again I had to work late. Something came up. So appreciate everybody for stopping by. You guys are the greatest. We will see you guys later.